Hi, and welcome to the second half of the show. In the rest of the show, we're going to talk about some holiday cooking ideas. In particular, it is that time of year that everybody, especially the children, want more sweets. Well, the ideas that we have for you today are incredibly simple. They use the simplest of ingredients, starting with butter. So let's get to it. So first of all, we start with a stick of butter. This can be really any shape, but I sort of prefer the stumpy rectangular shape that we get at the store. So let's unwrap that, get that ready. Now you want to be sure to wash your hands, of course, when you're handling food that other people are going to eat. In particular, you really want to wash your hands after you handle the butter because it just gets all over the place otherwise instead. Alright, so we've got some butter, and we have a plate that we're going to use here. Now, what I've chosen here are some decorative sugars that we have in the cupboard. Now you can use anything that you want. I chose some Christmas colors. We have some red and some green sugars. We have these decorative Christmas sprinkles, and we also have some, I have no idea what these are. It looks like a sort of a decimated holly bush. So I'm not going to choose these. I actually prefer things with sugar. Now I like to use colored sugar like red and green sugar. You can also use just plain sugar. White sugar can be a very decorative element of any meal, denoting a winter scene. It's also very good for non-denominational people who don't maybe want the red and green on their table. Also, if you celebrate Hanukkah at this time of year instead, you may consider purchasing some blue sugar, which is quite tasty and very blue. So I'm going to stick with red and green for now, and we're simply going to sprinkle this in the plate and get it ready. Alright, just get a nice wide spread there. It doesn't have to be too fancy. And then we'll go for some red. We'll really mix it in. Now I've known people to do very complicated decorations with these things where you can actually create patterns. In my case, I sort of prefer the random distribution of red and green. Now we take the butter right out of the packaging and we simply roll it right in the sugar. Oh, doesn't that look good? I mean, there's nothing better at this time of year than a whole lot of butter, right? So we do this. If you want a little bit more, I mean, you kind of get the point. I think at this point I would decide, well, you know what, there's some uneven distribution in there. We'll put a little bit more sugar in there. Get a little bit more. Because I think we all know that the more sugar you have, the better it's going to taste. Alright, now, we're nearing completion here. I told you this was simple, right? Now, what you really should have for the perfect one is a popsicle stick. But I find that actually a really good substitution is a very sharp knife. So we simply take the sharp knife, we insert it in the butter, and now you have a butter sickle for everybody in your family. Doesn't that look good? Now, some people may be on a diet or perhaps diabetic or simply don't feel like having this much sugar that day. Well, salt is a wonderful substitute for this. If you just use plain salt, it looks exactly like sugar. The taste is slightly different, but you can use it at your choice. And again, if you're celebrating Hanukkah this time of year, you may want to consider kosher salt. I wanted to talk about. What if you have a lot of people coming over and you actually don't have that many butter sticks so that everybody can have a butter sickle? All you do is you create decorative pats of butter. You could even do half pats like this. Now, let's spread a little sugar around. Let's say that we're having a Hanukkah celebration. Put a little sugar in there that's blue. Alright, and we've got a couple more, and we're ready to go. Now we have a butter sickle for the child and lots of delicious butter pats for the adults. Eat up.